southern Tasmania. Apologies, I'm a couple of minutes late. As a lot of you would know, my husband goes swimming on Saturday mornings at the same time as I go live, and he... Oh no, sorry, I didn't need to do it. He is usually back by now, but he's not, so I'm really not sure where he is. And I've been looking at, watching our dog, and he's not around to take over from me. So I'm a little bit worried about, well, not worried, I'm just a little bit puzzled as to where he is. I've got a weird screen on there at the moment, so apologies while I have a little fiddle with it to make it a bit bigger. That should make it a bit bigger for you all. Let's make sure that is. Just wait till everything catches up. Yeah, that looks better. Sorry, I've been clicking madly in my computer trying to get things set up, and have clicked the wrong buttons in a couple of occasions. Okay, so big news at the moment is we've got our new mini catalogue and celebration brochure that are live for customers. So I can actually show you the insides of them now, although I probably won't go through too much at the moment because we've got some crafting to do. The only thing I did want to show you guys and go through is the amazing joining offer, which is here in the brochure. I've actually got a little graphic here that I'm going to pop onto the screen. Hopefully it'll work and you can still hear me, because I know sometimes it mutes when I do this, but we'll see here. So this should come onto your screen. This is our joining offer for Celebration 2023. We're only having one celebration offer per year now. So if you're hanging out for a good deal to join Stamping Up, this is the one that you need to jump on, because you won't get a chance later in the year. So we've got 3 options for celebration this year to join, and these are all in Australian dollars, of course, because that's where I'm coming from. We have option 1, which is the glorious little boho blue mini cut and emboss machine, which you can see there in the picture, and I think you've probably seen mine come into the screen a couple of times. So you get the boho blue mini machine plus $315 worth of product of your choice. So there's no fixed starter kit, and you get all of that for 210 Australian dollars. Option 2 is you can choose the plain white, or the beautiful, still beautiful white version of the mini emboss machine, plus the $315 worth of product of your choice, and again for $210. So the first 2 options are the same, except you choose the blue machine or the white machine. And the third option, if you don't need the machine, is to just go $315 worth of product of your choice for $169. So that's the standard price, but they have boosted that amount by a good, what is it, $80. You get an extra $80 worth of product absolutely free. So that's with free postage as well. So that's even a better saving as well. So if you have a wish list that's up around the $300 mark, and let's face it, most of us do, please think about joining, even if you're a relatively new stamper. And I'll just get rid of that graphic. If you're a relatively new stamper, it's still worth considering, because when you're setting up, and as a new card maker or stamper, you set up, it's quite expensive, and the 20% the starter kit and the 20% discount you get when you join up, it makes that setup process so much more affordable. And of course, if you join my team, you get all my attention 24/7, and I'm happy to help you with anything you need. Even suggest a good starter kit for you if you are starting out. If you're an old hand at it, you can probably fill a $300 wish list as quick as anything. I sort of know that I can. Okay, so that's enough of the self-promotion. Please yell out if that interests you at all. You are going to hear it from me intermittently over the next little while, because I'd love to grow my team and have as many of you lovely ladies on board as possible. I'll just show you my work in progress bag. It came from my good friend Jan. So I'll see if she jumps on. She sometimes jumps onto Facebook. Yep. So this is my work in progress bag, I've decided I'm going to call it. I was crafty before crafty was cool. How cool is that? So she bought it for me. Apparently she found it on a cruise that she was on. So yeah, it's really cool. So I wondered what I was going to use it for, and I'm basically using it for all my kits So I've got some kits there for our fun fold. I'm going to do some videos for. I've got the kit there for tomorrow's Zoom. And I've got the kit for today's cards are in there as well. So thank you, Jan. I love my new work in progress bag. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing with you today. So we'll get crafting. So you can all jump on now if you're scared, if you didn't want to watch the advertisements in the beginning. We'll start some crafting. Let's see. So this is the one I'm going to do first. I've already created a sample, as you can see. Really cute little card here. The feature stamp that I'm using is actually the hand-drawn dots, which is what I've used for the background there. But I thought I'd also get some new products in there as well, just to show you some other new things in the catalogue. This pretty flower on the front is the Beautifully Happy, which is a celebration freebie. So watch out for that one when you're popping in your order. And I'm using, you can see there behind, that beautiful designer series paper is also from the new mini catalogue, and I'll show you that in a moment. Anyway, let's get started. I'll do the hand-drawn dots part first. So I've got a piece of basic white here. I've cut it quite large. It's larger than I would need for my card front, but I'm going to be using with a stamp this size, I'm using my what's this? Stamparatus. Too many things. My Stamparatus. So I needed the paper to be a wee bit larger so I could use my magnets. So I'm going to pop a magnet there. I might just use one, I think. I'm going to grab out the hand-drawn dots. I have a feeling I've used this one before, but I'm not quite sure. I do remember using it or talking about it to someone, and I'm not really sure whether it was on a video or just in general, but it's a really cool background stamp. So as I'm going to put my magnets on the very edge, put the stamp on so I get good coverage, and then put that on. So I'm going to do 2 background stamps. You can see I've already got that one there. So the first one I'm going to do in, I can't remember what colour it was, petal pink. The first one I'm going to do is petal pink. Where is my petal pink? I had everything out and ready, had everything in my, my work in progress bag, and now I can't find it. Oh, there we are, petal pink. So this is the background for this card. So obviously it's good to use the Stamparatus, so just in case I'm not happy with the coverage the first time round, I can come back again. My magnet is slightly too close, so I'm just going to take that off a wee bit more and hope that nothing happens there. Going to use my, thanks again to Crafty Bits and Bobs, I'm going to use my glider so I don't hurt my wrists when I'm using my Stamparatus. Right, still a bit blotchy in and around, so I'm going to come back in for another go. And I've just seen a comment there from someone Jeannie, who says it's her first time. Well, I hope you enjoy. I'm glad you found me, Jeannie, and I hope you enjoy the video. I don't claim to be the most polished professional video presenter, but you know, we tend to have a good time, and the ladies tend to laugh along with me when I make my terrible boo-boos, but so far so good. So there's our dots. You can see what this background stamp actually does. Just creates a whole lot of dots for a background. As try as I might, I haven't been able to get these complete, and that's in all the attempts I've had. So I'm assuming that there's a few in there that are sort of like a little bit patchy, a little bit distinctive, but we'll go with that. So that's our petal pink one. So that's what I need for our first card. I'm going to bring in another one, and while I've got the Stamparatus out, I'm going to bring in the second one, and I'm going to do this one in polished pink. So there's a bit of a theme building up here. So I'm going to pop that back in there. Put my magnet back on. Give that a bit of a wipe. And I'm going to come back in with my polished pink. This is for the second card. So we're going to do 2 cards today. So I thought rather than doing it separately, I'll just do them both at the same time. The second one is where I bring in the decorative borders. Polished pink, where are you, polished pink? Oh no, that's sweet sorbet. Pink, oh, here we go. I've been a little bit slack and haven't actually put the stickers on a couple of my more recent stamp pads, and that gets me a bit confused because and every time I go, oh, I'm going to do that before I go live again, and then it's just one of those things that just gets set aside and not done. Okay, bringing back my glider. And there's our polished pink. I might go in again, just in that centre part where I'm sort of a bit blotchy, and just give it a good hard rub. Okay, is that better? Yep, that's better. Okay, so that's our polished pink one. We're going to use that on our second card. We'll come in with that in a sec. Okay, pop you aside over there. Okay, so that's at the moment all we need the Stamparatus for. We will bring it back for the second card, but that's the polished dots, the hand-drawn dots. There we go. Pop that down here. Okay, so we'll bring in our, oh, forgive me, I've just moved things around. We'll bring in our petal pink one, and I have a card base, normal size card base for me, 8 1/4 by, oh, it's a bit scummy there, 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. Scored in the middle. I'm going to trim this panel down to 1/4 inch smaller, so 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. There we are. So that's going to sit just nicely on there like that. Pop that down there as well. Okay, so I might just add that straight away. Oh, no, hang on. Getting ahead of myself. I didn't want the dots to be too stark, you know, too, although it doesn't seem too bad. I didn't want them to be too plain or too defined. I don't know what I want. I didn't want them too stark is a good word. So I thought I'd grab my pink blending brush and get back my petal pink ink. I'm just going to very, 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 very lightly just go over it, just to soften the distinction between the dots and the background. I thought briefly of doing it on petal pink cardstock, and then I thought, no, that would be too, they wouldn't stand out enough then. So I really wanted the white, but I wanted it slightly softer. And you probably can't even notice that on the film, but on the video, but trust me, it's softened it a wee bit, so it's not so white. Not so white. Okay, so now I'm going to pop that with some glue just onto my card base. Now this design, I was having a little bit of crafter's block, as you do after a busy season, and so I've taken this one from a sketch challenge. I find them very handy. You just pop into Pinterest or Google sketches or sketch challenges. You find some nice sketches. For those of you who sort of haven't seen sketches before, they're just really line drawings with sort of circles and squares and patches and sentiments, just sort of really black and white, sort of just somebody just puts them together with their Excel program or their Word program or something, and you just fill in the gaps. So it's really, really handy. I do them sometimes with my team just as a bit of a challenge, but this one was very handy because it helped me design where everything should go. Okay, so I'm going to add this little piece of designer series paper here, and it's just so scrumptious. It's decadent. It's lovely. It's actually in the new mini catalogue, and I'll show you just in case you love it. It's called the Dry Brushed Metallic Specialty Designer Series paper, and it has 3 colours in the pack, or they're all gold in the background, but the sort of the colour is, we've got three. There's Occasion Craze, which this one is. They've got a Petal Pink and a Soft Succulent. Now, I love it so much I've already used the Petal Pink, although I can't remember what I used it on, but they're definitely not there anymore. So I'm using the Occasion Craze. And Occasion Craze, if you sort of blink and hold your eyes properly, Occasion Craze is sort of like a darker version of the Petal Pink. So I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So I'm just going to pop a tiny little slip like that. Just going to, it's 1 3/4 by, I think, 3.5. And I'm going to pop that just on the bottom sort of left-hand corner of the card, just with glue. And just there like that. And I think I just heard a car, which is good. Told Stephen I would look after Ruby while he was at swimming. Did I say this already? Ruby's, if you follow my Facebook page, Ruby has been being a big, shaggy, furry dog, and we had some quite hot periods of time, and she is a golden retriever, so as soon as she sees the water, she's in there. So she's spent a fair bit of time in the water, and she's got what they call a hot spot. I don't know, anyone who owns big, shaggy, water-loving dogs, you may have experienced them before. She's had a couple over the years. And anyway, so she's had to have the cone of shame on to stop her from licking it while we're on antibiotics and stuff to get rid of it. And she's had the cone of shame on for like 4 days, nearly 5 days. So I took pity on her and took it off this morning, but we've got to watch her constantly to make sure she doesn't lick where her hot spot is. If anyone else has had dogs with hot spots, they're horrible, horrible, weepy, horrible things. So yes, but I can't watch her while I'm doing this, and she's gone strangely quiet, so I'm a little bit concerned. Hopefully Stephen will be home soon and be able to take over Ruby watching duties. I keep telling her that if she keeps licking her daddy, which is Stephen obviously, Daddy's going to make her put the cone back on again, but she just doesn't seem to understand. It's funny that. Anyway, so I'm going to do the flower. Sorry for giving my ranting on there. But this is a piece just of basic white. Yeah, and it is from memory. I think it's about 2 3/4, I think. 2 5/8 by 4 1/4. So just cut big enough just for this. Oh, there goes my ruler. Oh, there goes my ruler. Cut big enough for this really nice main floral image from that beautifully happy celebration freebie. In Australian dollars, you get it free with a 180 order. So it's one of the more high-end freebies for this year's celebration. So I'm just going to pop it pretty much smack bang in the middle of that piece of cardstock. Try and get it the same either side, top and bottom. Should have a silicone mat under there, but I've forgotten. So let's hope we get it first time. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad without the silicone mat. So it's a really cute little image there. The stamp set itself has, here it is, it has some fill-in stamps as well. So if you didn't want to get the blends out, you could just stamp those leaves and flowers in just whatever colour you want. But I'm going to get the blends out. So as I've said before, in my view, Calypso Coral. Yeah, Calypso Coral is a darker version of Petal Pink. It's all right if someone wants to disagree with me, that's fine. But that's what my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm going to use that to do my flowers because I did want them a wee bit darker than Petal Pink. So I'll do the dark on the inside with a few spidery bits going out. I might swap to my pen end. Got to that period where I'm going to have to replace a whole lot of my blends. You have things you buy them all at once and they tend to run out all at once. And I've got to that point with my blends that they're all starting to show signs of age all at the same time. Okay, so that's the dark Calypso coral. Just watching for comments and things. Just pop on and say hi, and if I don't get to them while we're crafting, I will definitely get to them afterwards. So I think I just saw Kay jump on. So morning, Kay. Okay, so this is the light Calypso coral, so I'll just basically use that to blend in to our little centres. Just very fine little circular motions will blend that dark into the light. There we go. I'll bring it a wee bit closer in a sec so you see it. The brush end of that is a little bit worse for wear as well. I'll go back to my pen end. This is a nice little floral image, and that has some really nice sentiments as well. I'll just show them to you in a sec. Yeah, it's not a bad little set for even a little starter set. It's got some nice little sentiments and some fonts. And who doesn't love a flower now and then? That car mustn't have been Stephen. For some strange reason, Ruby will not come into the craft room. I don't know what it is. I've often tried to coax her in so that I can watch her while I'm crafting, but for some reason she just won't come in. So I sort of have to play, sort of have half an ear on what's happening out in the hallway. Now, I know I've got some new and some old. This is Granny Apple Green. I've got my dark and my light, and I know that I've got a newer set and a older set there. We'll just play it by ear. Just the dark one, just in these little top leaves. Apologies, I know I usually have this done before we come on, but today I just thought I'd do it with you, just to fill in a bit of time. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with my leaves, just some dark patches. And then come back in with my light. Now, been waiting for Celebration all year. Well, it's only January the 7th, so longer than that. Well, since late last year we've been waiting. It's finally here, which is really great. As I said, I'd love to grow my team. If you feel that you'd like to join a team, I don't know if any of my team members are on watching at the moment. Didn't see any names I know, but we have a lovely little team, and very supportive. And as I say, if you need help as a beginner to sort of pick what you think you'd like to do, pick the best value for you as a beginner, I'm very happy to help. I know sometimes going through the catalogue when you've never probably seen one before can be quite daunting. There is so much stuff in there. You really don't know what it is best to buy first. So please reach out. Now I'm just using my light Granny Apple Green just to blend that in. Now I definitely sort of mentioned this before on various posts and things on my Facebook page. You may think it doesn't matter whose team you join because you're just in it for the discount, blah blah blah. But if you join with someone who isn't committed to supporting you as a demonstrator or as a hobby demonstrator, you can miss out on some really great little tricks and tips that helps you get even better value for your demonstrator dollar, especially if you're only planning on joining for a wee while, you know, just to set up the craft room and then head off again. You really need to know how to get the best value for what you're spending. And we all know that money is, you know, it's not abundant at the moment, so we want to have our hobbies as efficient and cost effective as possible. Okay, so I finished colouring that one. There we are. That's really nice, isn't it? I love that. I love that green on those leaves, and I do love that calypso coral. It's great there. Who was that just came on and said it was a great team? I'll give you bonus points, whoever you were. Just comes up as Facebook user, so I'm not quite sure, but thank you. Anyway, so there we are. So that's our, actually I might, that little inside there, I don't like that in the calypso coral. I'm going to make it a slightly darker red. Just make that tight. That's just me being me. I like that a different colour. Okay, so there's our flower. So I've got a slightly larger panel of calypso coral there as well. Just going to add our little flower to that. So that's a really sweet little freebie, that one. Really like that one. I've got several. I do have my launch, the ladies who have already paid and secured their spots for my launch. I do actually have a couple of these stamp sets to give away as prizes. So yeah, so if you haven't managed to get your 180, you may well score this beautiful stamp set as a prize in the launch. Expecting my delivery for all our wonderful launch products early next week. So hang on to your hats, because you should get a little parcel not long after, once I've put all the boxes together. Okay, so there's our little card so far. So we've got it slightly set off from our designer series paper, and yeah, so you can see that there. It's got some nice things, and the dots are still quite lovely in the background there. Okay, sentiment. We'll do one more. Oh, bummer. I was going to pop a wee bit of ribbon there. I'll live without it on this one. You can see I've tucked a little bit of the gold shimmer ribbon in behind that. Slightly different for me. It's not something I have. I'm not big with just popping little bits of ribbon behind. I just don't think of doing it. And I saw it on a Facebook page and I really liked it. So yeah, I've forgotten to do it on this case. So we'll just put some bling there instead. But yeah, so that ribbon could go there. I haven't got Deb here. Are you here, Deb? Deb, you usually remind me to do my ribbon, but obviously you didn't know it was coming, so you couldn't remind me. Okay, so we'll just do our sentiment. I'll show you the sentiments on this stamp set. As I said, it's really quite sweet for a feeling better kind of day. So that's like a get well soon, sending happy thoughts, which could be anything, thinking of you, get well soon, that sort of thing. It's a bit light-hearted for sympathy, but anyway, it depends on the occasion. For a very happy birthday, which is the one we're going to use today, kindness matters, thank you, and you are easy to love. So there's some really nice sort of general sort of sentiments there that you could use again and again and again. I'm going to use a very happy birthday, and I think I've got it already out. Yes, I do. So for a very happy birthday, I've got a little tiny piece of basic white and a slightly larger piece of the Calypso Coral again. I'm going to pop that on there. Thank you, whoever was that said that you like it without the ribbon. You can stay, definitely. I'm not a big ribbon person. I never have been. It's sort of, I have to think about them. It's like not a natural thought for me with ribbon. So, but I like to show you what's available. So sometimes I pop it on when really I wouldn't, which is what demonstrating is all about, I suppose. Yes, but it's not a natural thing. Although I've got enough ribbon to choke a horse. That's an Australian, it's very Australian saying that, isn't it? I've got enough ribbon to choke a horse. Yeah, not that I would choke a horse, don't get me wrong. Yeah, so I seem to collect it, but I forget to use it. Okay, so I'm going to pop my sentiment. Because I haven't got much dimensional business happening here, I'm just going to pop that up on a couple of dimensionals. I'm going to bring in an older type sentiment, or older in the fact that it's in the annual catalogue and we've had it for quite some time. I'm just going to pop my sentiment on there. My husband's just got home. That's good. Hopefully he can watch Ruby now. So there we are. So I'll pop that sentiment on there. I'm going to bring in the Elegant Faceted Gems. Now, they came out a couple of years ago, but they're in the annual catalogue. We've got three sorts. There's a sort of opaque one, there's a clear one, which obviously I've used all of, and there's this petal pink one. So it's got a sort of petal pink sort of tone to it, and I'm going to use those. And because they're dots, they sort of fit in well with the dotty background. So I'll pop a couple of those around. I only came in 2 sizes though, which was quite weird because usually sentiments come in, embellishments come in like 3 sizes, big, little and small. But this one only ever came in the 2. There we are. It's quite pretty. Okay, so that's our first card. So we've got several things happening there. We've got our Beautifully Happy, we've got our gorgeous designer series paper, our dry brushed metallic. We've got our dots in our petal pink, which is really cool. We brought in some blending brushes and some blends. So yeah, really nice. I like that one. That one might go out to a team member or something who may be having a birthday. I've got a few January birthdays left to handle. Just bear with me for a second. Stevie's come in. Yeah, Stevie, Ruby's just there in the hall, I think, isn't she? Yeah, I've been watching her, but she's been lapsing. Yeah, just watch her for a while. Apologies for that. Don't lick, he says, like she can understand English. Okay, so we'll pop that one away now. We're finished with our Beautifully Happy, as I mentioned, free with a $180 purchase during celebration. Okay, our next card, and this is the one we created our polished pink background for, pretty bright. I'm going to let this one get out and proud with all its glory. I'm going to leave it as the polished pink. And I've got a few bits and bobs here as well. Oh, don't show you that. That's a giveaway. I've got a polished pink card base, same size as usual. I've got a rich raspberry layer, which is 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I'm going to trim my polished pink layer down a wee bit as well. Trimmer, where did I put that? Down here. So this one is going to be trimmed to the same size as the polished pink one was. So that's 3 7/8. Make sure I'm using, keep the good side, not keep the bad side. Been out in the garden already this morning. I was up quite early. I don't know, I was just up quite early. I think I was worried about the dog. I tend to get up early and see how her night has been. Yeah, so I was up quite early pulling weeds in the garden and got my fingernails all grotty just before even 8 o'clock this morning. So forgive that if you've noticed the dirty fingernails. Okay, so the polished pink dots are going to pop onto our rich raspberry. I have to say that really slow because it's one of those phrases that I just can't get out without stumbling. Rich raspberry onto there. And then I'm going to pop those two onto my polished pink card base. There we go. Quite bright, very bright actually. Nothing subtle about this one. There we are, just that. I'll put a white panel in this one when we're done. There we are. Definitely out and proud, this one. So now I've got another layer of polished pink. It's wider and shorter than the one we used on the other card. I'll get the measurements in a minute. And a corresponding layer of our basic white. This one's going to sit, I think it's going to sit that way. So this is a landscape card. So what I'm going to do is grab, again, I'm going to grab my Stamparatus, which I thought at the time was a good idea to put it on the floor, but maybe it wasn't. Here we go. Just get my dots off, and I'm going to use the decorative borders. Now, probably the decorative bordered stamps aren't that big in themselves, but I just found it so much easier to position them with the Stamparatus because I could get everything square. So I'm going to pop my piece of cardstock in the center there, pop a magnet smack bang in the middle, and I'm grabbing this little corner. So this is the decorative borders. Just what it says on the box, lots of decorative borders. I'm using this corner one here, but it's got lots of other little borders that you could use. Really nice one. No sentiments though, so you obviously have to pair it with other stamp sets. So this one I'm using, and I'll bring it back and show you on the box. It's got flowers in a corner arrangement, but it also has, if you look behind them, there's a sort of a right angle line, sort of like a frame, a corner frame there. So this is the bit that I found difficult to line up when I was just doing it by eye. So that's why I've decided to use the Stamparatus. So got dog hair on it. You know, sometimes people sell things on Gumtree and eBay and they say from a smoke-free, pet-free house. And I look at them and go, well, that's really sad because, you know, people should, if they can, they should have pets. But then I think it would be nice not to have all the dog hair everywhere. Very nice, but that's okay. Comes with the territory. So I'm going to line those up so that that little frame is sort of runs like perfectly perpendicular. Is that the word? Yeah, perpendicular with my parallel. Perpendicular is the other one. Parallel with my card base. I've been out of school too long. Can't remember my maths words. Yeah, parallel. Okay, so that's the first one. So there we are. So a pretty little border there. And as I say, I've got those lines running the right direction. It does go off the end slightly, but I don't think that detracts from it too much. And now I'm going to just flip the whole thing. Hopefully this will work out. Just flip the whole thing 90 degrees. No, 180 degrees. And then bring this back in. And hopefully that will be exactly right. Yep. There we are. So we've got our two little borders there. I'll bring it closer in a minute, just bear with me. And while I'm here, I might do my sentiment. I'm going to use which is one of my favourites at the moment, for a special person on a special day. Can't say my words. That's not very good. I do have it blocked up somewhere. Here it is. So I'll just again use my black. And it's just going to be, because this is a landscape card, it's going to be just a smack bang in there. There we go. So just in the centre of that little frame. There we go. Quite cute. Fits really nicely as well. So there is our little panel there. So I'm just going to bring the blends in again, just when you thought you'd seen enough of me colouring in. I'm going to use the same sorts of colours that we've just used in our dots or in our layers. I've got my dark polished pink, my dark rich raspberry, my light polished pink, and I'm going to bring in my granny apple green again. I love granny apple green. So making sure I bring in the new ones, not the old ones. Dark and, well, there's two darks. That's not much good. Dark and light's what I want. There we go. Okay, so let's get colouring. So I'm going to do the flowers. I'm going to do them in the same pinks that we've seen here. I'm going to use the light polished pink for some of them. So just bear with me. I'm not going to get too crazy about the colouring. I sort of like slightly patchy colouring. It's almost, I don't know, almost seems sort of more artistic, more like a painter. But I am going to do the same colours either side. I don't know. We have been together since Christmas, New Year, but I hope everyone had a lovely Christmas, New Year. Had a quiet one. I think I mentioned a couple of times that Stephen got bronchitis, so we couldn't go away up to his parents' house, which we were planning on doing. Not wanting to give his aging, I'm not going to say elderly, but aging parents bronchitis at all. Not fun. He didn't seem to mind the possibility of giving it to me, but he didn't want to give it to his parents, so we stayed where we were, which was nice. It was lovely. Had the kids at various times during the day. And then since Christmas, we've moved our youngest up to the north of the state, up to Launceston, for his work, for his new job. So it's been a busy few weeks. I'm just bringing in my light granny apple green. On the leaves. Stevie's much better now, though, thankfully. His bronchitis did hang on quite a lot, and the cough particularly. I think that's what hangs around for lots of these chest infections. He still has a bit of a cough even after 2 weeks. I think it's been since before Christmas anyway. Yeah, it's a tough one. But as I say, I think he's on the mend. Okay, so there's our pretty little flowers there. Okay, so I'll layer that up with its special little petal pink layer with some glue. This is about as far as I got with this one. I haven't got an example. I sort of knew what I wanted to do, and I just cut the bits. But I haven't really got much further than this in my brain, in my mind. Let's see how we go from here. I'm going to pop this one on there. That's really nice. I like that. And we'll bring in some bling. I think that will do. I don't want to go too much overboard. There we are. So our dots are a nice little background again. Just really cute. Okay. Bling, I thought I would use these 21 to 23 in colour opal rounds. They're in the new, what are they in? They're in the annual catalogue, I think. And they had the 2020, the previous year's in colours. So your pale papaya, fresh freesia, then there's our paddle pink, the soft succulent, and the evening evergreen, which are still some of my favourite colours from the last couple of years. So I do go through these a bit. I'm going to use our petal pink ones again, and I'll pop those in and around. I hadn't really thought about where I was going to put the bling. I'll probably be unhappy with where I put it, but that's okay. It's a pretty colour. It probably doesn't matter too much. And one more, because it's got to be 5. It's got to be an odd number. We'll pop one there as well. There we are. There we are. That's our polished pink and rich raspberry with our dots and our lovely decorative borders. Okay, so that's my 2 cards for today. How did we go for time? 45 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much what I said it would be. So 45 minutes, we have created that sweet little petal pink and beautifully happy layer card there with that bling. That's beautiful. I think that's my favourite today. And then we've got this much simpler but really elegant little decorative borders number as well. So there we are. So I hope you like those. Very feminine, not me at all. I tend to be a bit more bruisey with my cards, but these are really pretty in the pinks and the calypso coral there. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely weekend whenever you get there, either in Australia right now or in the States later tomorrow. Stay safe, and we will catch you all again during the week. So, as I say, that joining offer, if you live in Australia, you're not already a demonstrator and you're looking for a team to join, please think about my team, the Chatty Stampers. As I say, I do provide lots of training and support, so you won't be left to sort things out by yourself. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Hope to chat to you all again soon, and take care.